Yeah, this one's for the ones still fighting, still waiting for justice to show up in the room, but justice clocked out a long time ago.
Across the so-called land of the free, millions of parents can't even hug their own seeds. Not cause they're unfit, not cause they're a danger, but cause courtrooms became boardrooms and the judge is just a middle manager. Used to be a gavel meant something, used to be facts were the foundation. Now it's recommendations from strangers who never met your kid, just collecting payments. No trial, no hearing, no chance to speak. You just lose your rights by the end of the week. It's not justice, it's arbitration. We lost the courts to privatization, where love is weighed by hourly rates and families break while the system gets paid. Yeah, they call it ADR, I call it theft of rights.
The show for anyone who's ever had to fight like hell just to be heard. I'm Michael Phillips, founder of Father & Company, survivor of the family court circus, and proud member of the I'm Still Standing Club. Today's episode is called Hijacked, How the 1990 Judicial Improvement Act Quietly Took Down Family Courts. Now I know Judicial Improvements Act sounds like something you'd skim over in a history book and never think about again. But I promise you, this is the legal sleeper cell that gutted your rights, changed custody fights forever, and replaced trials with therapy sessions that you never asked for. If you've ever wondered how family court got so broken, buckle up. Let's go back to 1990. Congress passes this big sweeping reform called the Judicial Improvements Act. It's bipartisan. It's marketed as a fix for court backlog. On the surface, it's about efficiency and modernization. But underneath, it's the blueprint for a legal system that slowly replaced trials with tribunals and due process with mediation handshakes. This act pushes the courts, especially family courts, to adopt alternative dispute resolution, or ADR, mediation, arbitration, parenting coordinators, reunification therapy. You know the drill. It all sounds nice. Less conflict, less court time, more cooperation. But here's what they don't tell you. You don't get a jury in ADR. You don't get cross-examination. Most of the time, you don't even get a transcript. And the outcome, it's usually rubber-stamped by a judge who didn't even hear the case. That's not justice, that's paperwork.
Mediation for abuse, that's a trap in disguise. They call it healing, but it's just delay in disguise. Parenting coordinators, therapists too, but none of them accountable. Guess who pays you? You question the system, they silence your name. Self-represent, you just entered the game with no weapons, no rules, no judge that's impartial. Just clerks and commissions, all transactional. They say it's best for the child, but the child cries every time they miss a visit. They say we're resolving conflict, but they're the ones feeding.
Father & Company segment, where we spotlight what fathers are going through in the trenches of family court. Let's be blunt. The 1990 Judicial Improvements Act destroyed the courtroom as we knew it, and fathers have been some of its biggest casualties. Since the act, here's what's happened. Courts now require mediation before you're even allowed to request a hearing. If you're dealing with false allegations, you still get sent to mediation. No trial, no proof, just talk it out. Title 4D federal funding pays states to enforce child support, not for protecting father-child relationships. That creates a financial incentive to cut one parent out of the equation and turn the other into a checkbook. And guess who gets cut out most of the time? The guy sitting in the courtroom with a folder full of receipts, nobody willing to listen to his side of the story. Yeah, you. So who do we blame? Who built this legal booby trap? Well, the act was signed by President George H.W. Bush. It was backed by Senator Joe Biden, who chaired the Senate Judiciary Committee at the time. They weren't thinking about family court. They were thinking about cost savings. But that cost got passed to parents, especially pro se parents, especially those without money or legal teams. The Judicial Conference, the policy body for federal courts, also pushed hard for ADR. Judges liked it. Fewer trials, fewer complaints, fewer messy appeals. Sounds great, right? Till your kid's been gone for 2 years because a mediator said, "You seemed controlling." And just like that, your rights are gone, without anyone ever saying the word unconstitutional. Can we fix this? Here's the good news. Yes, there's a way forward, but it's not going to come from inside the system. Here's what we need. We need to end mandatory ADR in family court. Make trials the default, not the exception. Remove Title 4D incentives from custody decisions. Force transparency in family courts. Every ADR session should be recorded. Every order appealable. Every recommendation reviewable. Build networks of parents, advocates, and whistleblowers to expose this broken system and call for reform. I'm not saying it'll be easy. I'm saying it's necessary. Because if we don't fight back, who will? From the rubble we rebuild. You've been listening to Rebuilt Radio, where we take the wreckage, the trauma, the legal chaos, and we tell the truth about it. If this episode hit home, share it. Tag a parent who's been through the system. Reach out. Let's make this movement louder than the silence that's kept so many of us isolated. Check out more at Rebuilt Media and connect with the Father and Company community. We're not just telling stories, we're rewriting the system. Until next time, stay strong, stay sharp, and stay rebuilt.
But the child cries every time they miss a visit. They say we're resolving conflict, but they're the ones feeding it, cause a settled case don't pay rent. It's not justice, it's arbitration. We lost the courts to monetization, where trauma is billed and truth we stalled in. Loving parents never gets a call. Judges wear robes, but act like brokers. Docket clearing machines, not rights protectors. They don't enforce orders, just tell you to talk it out, then punish you when the other side walks out. This is a plea, this is a warning. If we don't act now, we'll be mourning the death of rights, of parenthood, of law. Cause this ain't reform, this is a flaw so deep, so raw. It tears families apart, but we can rebuild if we start. Call the commission, demand oversight, demand justice.